Cool. Ready?
Ready for action.
Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right. Happy day, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm Cash Matthews. Our show today is called Cashflows. And this is where we talk about things that matter in life. Some of it's business, some of it's personal. We just had a wonderful healer on our show, Robert Malone, in our previous segment. And we want to talk about things that matter with people who make a difference. And we'll get to our guest, Robert Malone, here just in a little while. And but I want to say thank you for being here. We're coming to you from the studio located in the Elevate Coworking shop here in South Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in this beautiful, luxurious podcast studio.
Oh, yes.
Some of the bands that have recorded here, I know there have been a few.
Oh, yeah. I think there's been definitely some big name bands like Big Band.
Big Band, Franks and Ostrich, I think, recorded here.
Right.
And Phil and the Blanks.
Yeah.
And Hank and the Hernias actually put their recent album out.
And Jelvis.
Jelvis, yeah, I think you're exactly right. So we're happy to be here. We got to get a life.
We need another list of. If you have a new list of jokes you can send us, please text those to 918-555-1234.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, so this podcast, the Cashflows podcast, is really about a concept called fire, aim, ready. You know, I think in business and in life, and at this thing, even about enjoyment and celebrating life, so many people put it off, and they don't get around. What is around to it? Should have gotten a square to it.
Round to
but
it.
I got around to it. As soon as I
One
get
of these
around
days.
to it, and people have this philosophy of ready, aim, and they never really pull the trigger on these things that they're meant to do in their lives. And as an entrepreneur and as a 62-year-old, 8-year-old, I mean, I'm still a kid. Like, I get it, and I'm more about fire, aim, ready. I don't want to get around to it. I just want to try it, and see how that turns out. And that's sort of been the story of my life.
Yeah.
It has not always served me well. Fair warning that this is not, technically advice, but it's about taking the next step. And we bring people on this show that we appreciate, that are out in the world doing things, that behave in a particular way, that are friendly.
Yeah.
And we want to share those people with the world. And we're very glad you're here. So I want to talk to our co-conspirator in this organization, Mr. Kenneth Bauckham. Kenneth, good day.
Howdy.
Glad
Good day,
you're
mate.
here. Yeah, I saw you eating some of those chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a couple here and there.
Yeah, I think those are excellent. Got any plans for? It's 2024 your year.
Right.
What's 24 looking like?
Well, I'm going to start off auditioning for the role of background character number 3.
Ooh,
Yeah, see if I can get that one.
background character number. There's a movie that I really like called That Thing You Do,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a player it's about a band, and there's a guy in it, and he's listed in the credits as the bass player. Oh, and it actually says TB player.
That's funny.
So, well, okay. So repeat what you're doing in 24. I want to hear your goals.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was it.
That was it?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm going to try and be a background actor, background character number 3.
Background character number 3.
Yeah.
Well, you're
There's at least a couple of others in the same story.
your raving fan has wanted to know the answer to that question, and so we thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
And anyway, well, listen, Cashflows is ready to kick off another wonderful episode, and we have our friend here today, Mr. Robert Malone. Robert, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Is his mic in the right spot? Are you hearing him
yeah.
good? All right.
Yeah.
Ooh, studio audience is
They're all excited.
is in favor. Okay, very well. So, Robert, we're glad to have you today on Cashflows. Thank you for being here and sharing with us. Now, we met through this crazy event called the Business Owners Networking Group. I don't know if you've realized, but that spells B.O.N.G. And I only recently learned that B.O.N.G is a place to store drugs. Is that how you see it?
That's one of the possibilities.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience at the B.O.N.G, where we met and how we became friends.
I don't remember the first group. I think it was at a coffee shop.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I think that's right.
I don't remember which coffee shop, but it
Well, we
was.
go to a few.
Yeah, we got a few,
There are
but
several.
I think it was just introduction, walking around, meeting new people,
Right?
and then we're both bike guys, so we kind of hit it off with the bikes, and
Yeah.
it's we're both big kids too, so it's
Right.
just
I don't want to
unsupervised.
grow up. I'm a Toys R Us
Yeah,
kid.
Hey.
yeah, unsupervised adults with
Unsupervised adults. I think we need to capitalize
That's a
on that
band
phrase.
name.
yeah,
That's one of the other bands that
That's one of the
recorded
other
here.
bands that have
Yeah,
recorded here.
yeah,
Yeah, their live at Budapest thing was recorded right here in the studio.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So Robert alluded to that we're both bike guys, and I'm an old BMX rat. And from the time I was a little kid, even till now, I ride a BMX bike. And Robert, you ride?
yeah. I haven't rode in a couple years. COVID kind of
Yeah,
messed
kind of
me.
kind of
Yeah,
messed it up for a bunch of people.
yeah, kind of messed
So
everything
you
up.
haven't been on a bike in a while?
No, not in a while, but
I was out tooling around last night in the garage. I was like, all right, I'm airing up all the tires,
Hmm.
and I'm getting back on the bike, and I ride it a little bit, but it's a lot more fun when you have a riding buddy.
yeah,
Do you
for
ride
sure.
bikes, Kenneth?
I have ridden bikes for quite some time. I do not currently have a bike to ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a mountain biker though, so my dad got me into that, and then and he went back and forth between a road bike and a mountain bike. But I tried to do BMX stuff on a mountain bike
Well,
and
that's okay.
have bruises to prove it.
That means you're in the brotherhood.
Oh,
Like
cool.
we're excited that you're
Yeah,
part of the brotherhood.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was having trouble with my bike. It won't stand up by itself because it's too tired.
Wow,
See, I'm
Uh,
a
too
okay. I
tired.
had a chain reaction there. I apologize.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
did.
BMX bike guy too, and I had some buddies that were mountain bike guys, and I showed up to ride mountain bikes with them, and they're like, "Dude, what in the world you've got going on here?" Took a BMX bike, threw a set of mountain bike gears on it, and
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I've got a dirt jumper
it's
bike
a
with about 6 gears on it that a
yeah,
buddy built for me, and I haven't ridden it much.
yeah,
But that's my next conquest is to
oh,
go
yeah.
out and
Yeah.
I had it. Were you at my house when I had the bad wreck?
No, no, no.
My buddy brings his $8,000 or $9,000 e-bike up to the house, and he's like, "Hey, take it for a ride." And I'm like, "You sure?" And I did, and I still know how to pedal pretty fast, and I'm jumping up into the yard, fixing to hit it hard and like slide, and this little kid runs out in front of me,
Oh no.
and I had to eat it, and
Oh,
like I grabbed the left brake, I think is the front brake, and I'm like, if I had hit that kid, it would have been bad because I was moving, and so as I'm flying through the air, and I'm like,
mm,
please
mm,
God, let me
mm,
not
mm,
land on the
mm.
sidewalk, and of course I landed on the sidewalk.
Boom.
And the people are like, Cash can't actually ride a bike. I just saw him eat it. Yeah, so that was my last party at my house. I ate it in front of everybody.
Yeah,
Wow.
little piece of humble pie.
Oh yeah, yeah, but it was actually, it was actually pretty quick thinking. I
Yeah,
would have had to
Yeah.
kill a kid or maybe break my hip. And when you're 62, you're supposed to get a bone density test,
Ooh.
and that was mine.
yeah. I think if
Like
You passed.
I passed him. Like I was like, oh, I know it's going to be purple. I'm not even going to look at it.
Right.
And we were going on that cruise that we all did the week after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't see me limping there. I hit it pretty well, but
Man.
anyway. Well, so we are excited to have Robert here. We're gonna. This is somebody I've made friends with, and I was so excited that he wanted to be on the show and share some time with us. So, Robert, first, your wife will tell you I was gushing over you a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of have a man crush sort of thing, and I just appreciate the friendship. I'm hard to make friends with,
I get-
and it just takes me a little while to kind of get the thing going. And but I appreciate that. And I think you're a guy. I think you and I have a lot of similarities. I think we have a difference in age, but like you said, we're both unsupervised adults. I need to write that down and remember. That's such a great phrase. But I know you've had to overcome things in your life. I think we all have, Kenneth. Like
Oh, yeah.
if we just didn't worry about the timing of all this, we could turn the mic off and probably go for 2-3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
About what we've had to overcome, and so talk to us about what your life has been like as a man, and you're married and a father, and you have a family, and I mean, what's it been like for you in overcoming things in your life?
Well, it's we all have our challenges, but it's been a journey. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it, but it's been a journey. Kind of learning how to be a husband. I didn't really have a good figure to kind of guide me
Yeah, for sure.
in fatherhood or being a spouse. I bounced around a lot as a kid. Went from grandparents to my dad's to grandparents, and then I ended up aunt and uncles and just kind of all over the place. So um, didn't really have that stability, and then getting married, having a kid, and then figuring out kind of as you go along
Right.
what works, what doesn't work, and then not having that attitude of feeling like you got to keep up with the Joneses, feeling
Mm.
like you have to do what other people are doing because not everything works for everybody. So it's been pretty awesome, and got an awesome wife, awesome kid, and we're doing pretty good.
Well, living life is fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses, I've got news for you. The Joneses are broke.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Miserable and unhappy.
Well,
Yes.
I think I was just telling your wife this earlier that, you feel like as a kid, you maybe have to keep up with somebody or there's some scoreboard that somebody else is keeping. And my life began to accelerate when I realized that's not true. Like, no, nobody's keeping score.
Hmm.
I just want to enjoy my life and my friends and my family and my endeavors. And then no, I don't think anybody really is watching each other. Nobody's watching me. Like, I don't think
Right.
anybody gives a fig what I do or how it turns out.
Uh,
Like, maybe people are rooting against us.
Uh-oh.
They
That could
might
be.
be.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think people are rooting for you?
Uh, I don't really care.
See,
It's
they're okay.
it's
The
There we
winner.
go.
Ding,
um
ding, ding, ding.
it's I've learned a long time ago to it was I think maybe 10 or so years ago. I tried multiple trucks and motorcycles and just all the toys
Yeah.
and just really struggling paycheck to paycheck, unhappy, miserable, and trying to keep up with what I thought everyone else had. All
Right.
these people had this glitz and glamour, and uh, I think a lot of people think I lost my mind because it's just like what, I'm done with it. I sold everything
Wow.
and just changed my whole perspective on I'm gonna do me, and I've stopped that comparison lifestyle.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that.
And just kind of I've been much happier. It's like I just go do me, and if I'm a goofball, I don't take much serious. I have people telling me, "Oh, you need to grow up. You need
Yeah.
why do I need to grow up?" It's
Yeah. So you can
yeah,
fit into their mold, not yours.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. God made you uniquely.
oh yeah, for
And I
sure.
and I love that concept that we are all so very unique. And I'm 62. I still ride BMX bikes
Yeah, that's the way
and
to be.
play with my dogs and
Sorry,
play with Hot Wheels. And I just want to be me. There's only one
Hmm.
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one Robert.
I'm going. I'm just shy of 38. I'll be 38 February, and I'm the same way. I'm a big kid. I'd rather hang out with the kids than I would the adults any day.
Yeah.
And just went down to see my brother. I was working, ended up about an hour from his house, so I drove down to see my nephews, and all the adults are adulting and running around with 3 and a 5-year-old, just building forts and playing swords
Yeah.
and
That's kind of
yeah,
my mentality.
yeah.
Yeah. When we get off the air, I'll share a couple of things I've done. It's some
Yeah.
things that I'm just not proud of them.
Yeah. Building a
But
fort. That sounds like a Saturday afternoon to me.
but
Yeah.
but given the opportunity, I would do those same things again.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your life and your hobbies and things that I mean, you and I are both
Yeah.
bike riders.
Yeah.
If I call you a bike rat, that's my word for me, and I
Yeah.
mean it as an endearing term. Like we ride bikes,
Oh yeah.
and like and just other things that like if you work out a lot, you're a gym rat,
Ah.
and I'm a bike rat. So let's talk about what you like to do and the things you've done in the past that are fun and what you enjoy doing. Because I have bet our lists are similar.
Yeah. So of course, bikes. Grew up riding dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, go karts, pretty much anything that goes fast and can hurt you. It's all the fun stuff,
Right.
and what a lot of people don't probably wouldn't put together or kind of know me, but one of my big hobbies is reading. So always love to improve my knowledge.
Right.
I like to think, to observe. So philosophy and believe it or not, law.
Hmm.
So
Wow. Okay.
a little self-taught, not a professional. Don't call me for advice.
1-800 get out of jail. Robert Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I'm studying. I just self. I go. I read. I do that a lot, and then big on adventure. I like to explore new places, new
Okay.
things, and
So you travel some then as well?
yeah. So I travel for work, and then we tend to make family trips out of it.
Yeah.
Nikki stays at home with our son, and he does the homeschool deal. So we try to make opportunities to.
Well, no, I didn't realize you guys homeschool your son. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, she does. I just kind
Right.
of help. Try
Well,
to.
my wife did as well, but I took all the credit. I'll teach you that little trick. Just always say, yes, we homeschool.
We homeschool
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that was my way. Well, so I think I'm a lot like you in that respect. That I like to travel and I like to go out and see the world. And if you're going somewhere for a business or work trip of some sort, just take your family and
Yeah.
And I live in coffee shops.
Oh
That's
yeah.
like when I travel, I love going to coffee shops. We went to a coffee shop in Buffalo, Texas,
Hmm.
on the way down to Galveston, and we loved it. It was just a dinky little town of about 8 people. I think it was like the coffee shop, car sales. I mean, it was like
Post office.
yeah, it was all of those in one. But we had a good time there. So you haven't been on your bike in a while.
I haven't been on a bike a while. I've actually sold it to one of my buddies. And COVID, we met him at his daughter's dedication. After we drove up and did like a little exchange in the parking lot, and my wife's like, why are you meeting him here? I was like, well, he lives out of town. He's his daughter's dedication. He's like trying to cram it in the back of the in the back of the car with his
Those
daughter.
are kind of people right there.
Trying to make it work, but no, it was I kind of hadn't got a. I don't use something for a while, then I tend to get
Just
rid of
move
it.
it on out.
And
Yeah. I probably ought to think about that. I may have a
Yeah.
few too many.
yeah.
Is there a number that's too many?
For me, it's usually if I don't use it in a month or two, then I get rid of it.
Oh,
But
okay.
I probably shouldn't do that because sometimes it's like
Then you got to rebuy it.
you got to rebuy
Yeah,
it,
if
and
you're
then
gonna
there's my favorite bike I ever had was a Diamondback,
Ooh, okay.
the or the Silver Streak.
Silver Streak, yeah.
Yeah,
Very familiar.
man, and yeah, they don't even make BMX bikes anymore.
Right. No,
Uh,
they've just
Mountain bikes.
they
Yeah.
kind of lost their passion and their soul.
Yeah, disappointment. But
Yeah.
I had the Silver Streak, and man, I want one. But you look them up nowadays, and it's like, oh man, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like the price of a
Yeah.
motorcycle or something.
yeah, it's like I should have just kept mine, but I didn't ride it for a little bit, and then I sold it, and then buy
Okay,
another.
well let's move on. I want to find out who's influenced you and who you wanted to be like when you grew up, and what was going on in your brain, and who did you want to be like? I know my
Yeah.
answer for me.
Yeah. So I've always been a thinker, someone who's had a lot of questions about the world, and I enjoy sitting back and watching the world go by, and then just observing.
Yeah.
And there's an old radio host. His name was Earl Nightingale,
I know who he is.
and yeah, he was kind of my childhood hero. But I was got that personality to be rambunctious and kind of get in trouble, so I had to listen to him on the down low because I don't want to ruin my my personality I had going on. But
Right, well, that'd wreck your street cred when you're 10 years old listening to Earl Nightingale.
yeah.
Okay, well, this is going out on the internet.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, we're gonna break.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
breaking the story right open
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, anybody athletic? I mean, I had athletes that I kind of wanted to be like, and I didn't know why, just because they existed, probably. Did you follow any athletes when you were a kid growing up?
Uh, Man, Tony Hawk was. I grew up in the '80s and '90s, so Tony Hawk was pretty big. But I never. I did some skateboarding a little bit, but mostly with BMX stuff. I really like Ryan Nyquist and Matt Hoffman. Kind of the old school dudes. And
Yeah, Ryan Nyquist just got
yeah,
voted in the National Hall of Fame
yeah,
back at the end of October.
yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
And
he was in town.
yeah, it's that would probably be athletic wise, kind of who I looked up
Oh
to.
yeah,
And
that's pretty cool that like
yeah,
your heroes were the
yeah,
BMX and the skaters.
yeah. And then I like Ezra Lusk too, old dirt bike
Oh
rider.
yeah, yeah. He's had a great career.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
These are motorcycle people, by the way.
Oh, right, right.
Sorry,
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I,
I was
I had to fill our
yeah.
co-host in here.
Yeah. I thought they were like boat pilots or something.
They may very well be.
Maybe.
I don't want to
Maybe.
exclude them from that category.
Maybe
Oh, okay.
pastime hobbies.
Yeah, life behind bars, man. Two wheels.
There it is.
Yeah, when I get done here today, I'm going to look at motorcycles.
Hey,
Like I found one for sale, and
Cool.
I'm pretty sure my wife wants me to have one to put in the living
Yeah.
room.
Do you want me to text and make sure, or?
Don't do that part.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I
okay.
know you're
I'll check
you're on
another
dial up, and
time.
you only have a limited amount
Oh,
of minutes.
yeah. I don't
so
want to waste my minutes on
yeah,
that.
don't waste a text on that. I'll make sure that I tell her afterwards. Um, so life can be dreary.
yeah.
Um, and I'm going to ask you a question that I've struggled with.
All right.
At various times in my life, I knew the answer. At various times in my life, I had no answer. But what we all have to get up and do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Life's not over till it's over. How do you get motivated to wake up every day? What's your go-to thing? I mean, what keeps you going?
So first off, trying to make. I'm really all about seeing other people grow, other people have the most enjoyment and the easiest kind of life possible. So it's just knowing that I can make my wife and my son's life a little bit easier when
There you go.
they can stay cozied up and warm or cool, depending on time of year, and just a little bit more or less stressful. And
I think that's a great answer.
and then also just challenge, that comes with day-to-day tasks and jobs and stuff. So
I heard because I've been very curious about how do you? I mean, I've been in one business 42 years. I've had moments where, man, I was all in. I've had moments where, like, what am I doing? You ever have a moment like that?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's like, Kenneth, you ever have those moments?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Like, I mean, this is not a confessional, but
Right.
I was having a moment, and I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was just talking about this role of being a husband and a dad and a business owner and working on the B.O.N.G stuff, and his question was, why do you get up every morning? And it was on a day that I did not know the answer. And he goes, here's what I see. And he goes, it's your duty. Like, whoa, okay,
Mm.
that's a different answer.
yeah,
And I think I ended up explaining this to my children. Hey, do you know why I go to work? And do you know why I do what I do? Is it because you love us? And it's not that's not the answer. I do it because it's my duty. And you have to find a little bit of beauty in that. And it's honorable. And so on days that you and we don't feel very good, we kind of keep going,
Mhm.
right? And I may be way out in left field on this, but I love that question. But I love the question when it's harder to answer. When
Right.
when things are going great for us,
oh yeah.
life's great. I mean, life's easy when it's easy.
Yeah.
It's just when it's dreary, and as you get a little older, you feel a little bit more isolated.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's hard in the winter time for me because I work outside. So
oh yeah,
everything from negative 17 degrees up to 112, and
oh yeah,
on this winter's been beautiful. But
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes.
It's 50 degrees yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, when it's dark and cold and stuff outside, when I leave for work in the morning, it's like, man, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, but it's I think it's duty that compels us to keep on going.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so we talked about. I've had this conversation now twice in 2 days about the Briggs-Meyer personality test, and I know that you've done that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to adequately explain it, so I'm going to dump this question on you, Robert. Tell us about your Briggs-Myers or Myers-Briggs personality type, and what does it mean?
Uh, I don't know what it means. I did it. It's one of those my wife suggested
Right,
that we do them. Just try to, because we're both about personal development and
right.
personal growth. Trying to, if you know yourself a little bit better, then you might be able to, kind of find your little niche, your lane. So I took mine 3 times because my personality type is one of the rarest. They're like 2% of the population.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I know that's weird. I know I'm a weirdo, and I say that proudly.
Yeah,
But
sure. Yeah, welcome to the club.
so I did it 3 times. I got the same result all 3 times.
Wow.
But it's the ENFJ. So it's extroverted, uh, intuitive, feeling, and judging on the way that you process and think. So it's,
Have you taken any of those personality tests, Kenneth?
I haven't taken Myers-Briggs, but I've done like DISC and some others like that.
My mom gave me a personality test when I was about 13. She called me a name, and I just let that one stick.
I see.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat it here because we're regulated by
Oh, right.
by the
Yeah.
F something TC FAA.
Yeah.
Who are we regulated by?
FCC, I think, would probably be the closest.
Okay, well, I don't want our album that comes out on Apple
Right.
to like have the XXX rating. If I yeah, so
That's something different.
oh, it is. Yeah, it sucks being a nerd. So how does that affect your daily life when you know what your personality type is? I mean, do you communicate better with people when you know their personality types?
I think it doesn't bother me. I think it helps me just kind of. I've always been that kind of weirdo. I got into just bikes, and you were talking about Hot Wheels earlier. I got into that stuff at an early age because I never really fit in with all the other kids.
Yeah.
And so, and it was because I think and I see the world differently, and I don't understand a lot of how other people function. I don't relate that way.
Right.
But knowing and growing on myself, I've just learned that, that's all right. And there's, I went through a dark period of like, what's wrong with me? And, why can't I fit in with people? And just, the poor, pitiful me. And
Okay. Yeah. That's
yeah, all that stuff. So it's helped me just growing and just knowing, just be proud of who I am and just roll with it and just enjoy life.
very
So,
good. Well, we're here today with Robert Malone, and Robert's a friend of mine from the Business Owners Networking Group, and we're going to come back to this live interview here in a moment. But first, we're going to give a shout out to one of the sponsors of the Cashflows podcast. Kenneth, who are we talking about today?
Well, today, Cash, we're actually going to talk about a whole bunch of their sponsors.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, before we dive back into today's episode, we've got a special shout out to all of these sponsors. This podcast is coming to you from the studio at Elevate Coworking. Our signage is provided by CM Customs, and the show features amazing entrepreneurs from the Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group. We're sponsored by MFP, My Financial Plan, on the web at joinmfp.com, and the show is produced by the audio-video expert at Kenneth Baucom Photography. With these sponsors at top of mind, let's return to Cash Flows.
Already in progress.
Already in
I
progress.
like it when you say that.
Already in
that
progress.
makes me feel more important than I actually am.
Progressing already.
I feel progressive. Wait, that's an insurance thing.
That's also a soup. Or no, that's Progresso. Anyway.
You got to get me one of those buttons where I can do the rim shot. Yeah, I'm getting my own button.
Get your own button.
Yeah, we need a button right over here, dude. I want to get on that. Well, so Robert, tell us about yourself. Just describe yourself to the people listening today that they can get to know you a little bit better.
Well, I would first off, I'm free spirited. I do not like boxes. I do not like to feel like I'm being held down or got a set of guidelines I have to follow by. I just kind of like to live with my own flow and go. I would say I'm reliable, sincere, humble, pretty laid back, and
yeah, you are that, and
very,
I mean that's I'm working more towards that.
Yeah, very.
I admire that.
Very childish. It's You ever seen the little TikTok videos of the gorilla? It's the gorilla's mad and the other gorilla's over there poking it.
I haven't seen that one.
They're up in a tree and one's mad and the other one's poking it. And my wife's like, that is you.
That's you.
That's you always, like, just never know when to grow up.
Well, I like that. I like that you're reliable. I think that in any business and in life, like when you're the reliable person, and I've always tried to be reliable. I want to show up and put up and do my thing and help where I can, and I think that describes you very well.
Yeah, I think we're all. I think for a business or really friendship or anything to succeed, it takes everybody kind of doing their part and finding that unity and trying to look out for each other.
Yeah, very well. So the trade that you're in, if you'd describe it, and then I'd like to hear one of the lessons that you've learned from working in the world that you work in.
It's very much the number one lesson would be patience. Work with equipment, and you get customers who are angry at times, and if of course your equipment goes down and fails, then you can be angry, whether that's at the whatever reason it is. You can be a little hostile and upset and not very happy when you need something done, and so patience, and then a lot of just troubleshooting through issues is patience, learning to just see the whole broader picture instead of that this little bitty box I was talking about earlier.
I think it would help you to have, like, if you have an angry client and you are reliable and kind of laid back, I think you would be the perfect fit to kind of talk them off of the ledge. Does that work in your business? I mean, does your personality positively affect that side of your business?
I think for the most part it works out pretty good.
Unless you go poke them in the side.
Yeah, unless I'm poking them in the side, but I'm also not good with conflict, so I tend to kind of shut down. So if it's upset that their equipment's down, or that they just in a frizzy, you need it now, and you're doing everything you can, then there's the mindfulness of, all right, they're upset. But if it's directed at me,
I think that's unfortunate when people direct their upsettedness, is that a word?
Yes.
Their anger or their frustration onto, don't take it out on the mailman. They're just delivering the mail, or and I think people have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, you deliver bad news, and people get mad, and it's I do pretty good, but like I said, I don't do good with conflict, so I tend to just kind of shut down and withdraw and just sit there.
Okay, well, it seems to work. You're still going.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing what you're doing right now?
Oh, I think may be about 19 or 20 years. It's long enough I don't remember, but
that he survived doing it his way for 20 years. I think that you've supplied the answer. That's people get way too upset.
Yeah, they really do.
You ever see that out there in the world? People are mad at their waiter or the store manager or something, and they want to yell and fight and argue. And hey, why isn't my car fixed? And they're talking to the receptionist.
Right.
And they don't treat them very well.
Yeah.
So it's better come back, and I mean, arguing doesn't do any good. It's better come back when all parties are level-headed. And
that's very good advice. Hey, stay level-headed. All right, so I want to. One of the questions that we discussed is the tools that you use that you feel like are indispensable in your career and probably beyond your career. I would let's talk about those kinds of things as we wrap up here.
Again, it's more of mental, just mindfulness. With equipment, a lot of it is paying attention to the little details, because it's usually, in my experience, and then always something stupid. People will see a massive problem, and it's usually something very small that's been overlooked.
Yep.
And then just being like observant and mindful of just.
Is part of what you do teaching people to use the equipment? Like, here's how it works. Is that a thing in your business?
No. We work in. We do everything, but specialize in generators primarily. And most people, the generator works itself.
Right.
and you don't. It's just kind of out of the back of your mind. So most people don't even know how it operates or what it does. They just know it's there, and
Right.
then it comes on or it doesn't come on when they lose power.
Right. Well, yeah, so that's sort of a self-fulfilling deal. I was thinking more along the lines of, you have a thing or a product that you use or sell, and then you have to tell people how to use it and give them it. And I've looked around in my life, and my dad he's one of my inspirations on both sides of the equation. And he really wasn't great at taking instructions. And he was one of those frustrated people about society and about his car breaking down and all these other things. I had taken him, he loved to fish, and I love to fish. And so we went out one day with a guide, and I don't remember the guide's name. We went fishing, and I think we were fishing for like stripers or something. And the guide is like, okay, we're going to use 8-pound braided line. We're going to use a number 3/0 hook and a 6-inch blue worm. And we went out and we just slayed it. Like, we filled the boat up with fish. We had a great day. My dad had the best time ever.
That's awesome.
And, but we had somebody coaching us, and then he went back out a couple of weeks later, and, I'm like, Pop, how'd it go? Like, how'd that go? He goes, that guide sucks. That guy's terrible. He's an idiot. He's a moron. He's no good. He doesn't know anything about fishing. He couldn't find fish at Long John Silver's. He's mad. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, dude, I did everything he told me exactly. And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? He goes, well, I didn't use 8-pound braided line. I bought some 12-pound green line because it was on sale at Gibson's or wherever we were buying fishing stuff. And I got a sale on 4/0 hooks, not the 3. And I got a great deal on some green 4-inch worms. I did everything he said to do exactly. And I didn't catch a fish. And, sometimes in life you meet people, they get frustrated. And they're kind of the problem. They don't need a new technician. They need a mirror.
Yeah.
And I've got so many dad stories. We could literally do another 20, 30 hours on dad-isms. So
luckily for our audience, we don't have much recording time left.
Oh, good.
We
Okay.
swap out SD cards before we can do another 20 hours.
Wow. I wish I knew what an SD card was. That's one of my goals in 24. I'm going to learn what an SD card is. And then one of my major goals for 24, I'm going to program my VCR.
Okay, yeah. Get that flashing
I'm going to get
12
the
off there.
flashing. I'm going to get the flashing light off. Our guest today is my friend Robert Malone. Robert, thank you for being here for the Cashflows podcast. That sounds a little more invasive.
Well, we're poking around into other people's lives.
Welcome to the podcast. Get in line. I'm embarrassed for what I just said. Anyway, Robert, I want to thank you for being my friend and being here today and supporting the podcast. And you ready to wrap it up and take us out of here, Chief?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Kenneth, thank you for being here. Robert, our sponsors, thank you guys so much for being here. The Cashflows podcast is about taking steps. Are they big steps? Are they perfect steps? Nah, they're just steps. And whatever the next step is for you, we hope you'll take it. And as you go out in the world today, be nice to one another, love one another, be understanding of somebody that you don't understand. And more importantly, pick somebody out today and call them up and forgive them, even if they don't deserve it. And I think we'll go a long way in the world if we all do that. Hey, I want to say thank you to those 3 of you out there that follow me and Kenneth around, and you like all of our posts out on Facebook. Man, we love you guys. We respect you. We thank you. And we're going to Brahms tonight. Y'all want to go? Hey, give me a call. It's me. Thank you guys for being here.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.